A-4227 again. So, yeah, my dog was alerting me to they're going door to door doing wellness checks. And the way it's set up here is you live in a building and in your box, and everything you need is here. They do wellness checks. They walk in. Uh, it's usually um, a a wellness agent from the Ministry of Wellness. And they come through and they check your vitals, and they make sure that you're okay, and that you have enough adequate food, and that the temperature and all the amenities are working. That everything is provided for you. Also, a armed sentry, control sentry, is with them. And well, they just come in and they do their thing. They look at you, and they slap a little thing on your forehead, and that tells them everything they need to know. Are you healthy? Are you well fed? Are you dehydrated? Are you a good little slave? um, Usually they don't care much about the dog. They did ask questions about the dog, and I'm just like, hey, it's a dog. There's a few dogs here, but you know like they go, okay, whatever. They can from time to time take a dog or whatever. Kids, they like to take kids. They do that a lot. Um, Not a lot of people have kids. There's a with the wellness ministry of wellness is they'll take the kid and say, well, you don't have adequate enough resources here to provide for a kid or a dog. It's just for you. This box is just for you, and so they'll intervene, if you will, and take everything. And they check your teeth. They, you have to strip down naked. You have to get all the way down to your clothes. All your clothes have to be off you, and you have to stand there, and they look at you and comment, talk into their little machine, make comments about you, and so yeah, it's a wellness check. There's no getting around it. Um, but this one was interesting. The control uh, armed guard was just he he didn't even care. He wasn't even looking around. Usually they look around and are looking for stuff, right? And they might even start going through your stuff and start looking at you and start asking questions, or they'll talk to the wellness officer, the wellness agent, and they never really talk to you, but he was asking me questions. How am I doing? What do I do? Yeah. And you have to be very scripted with your answers. You can't go off script. You know. A-4227 as well. Thank you for asking. I enjoy it here. I am very adequately provided for. You have to talk this way, or you raise the ire of suspicion. And well, if they suspect you of anything, they take you. And chances are you don't come back when they take you. So, but this guy, he was just asking me, these little questions. Me personally, and he wasn't mean about it. So usually they're mean. Usually they're court, or like I said, usually they don't even talk to people. They talk to the wellness agent, and the wellness agent asks you questions. So for this guy to talk to me was interesting, and he asked to see the dog. I showed him the dog, and He kind of smiled. There's no smiling here. Nobody smiles. Do you understand that? There's no smiling. Smiling is suspect. Very, very suspect. So for him to like that, and he made sure he was forward of the wellness agent to do it. I thought that was very odd. I don't know. Interesting. So, um, anyway, what was I talking about? So hard to think sometimes with no food. But you have to lie about that too. You have to say that, my rations are quite agreeable, that kind of thing. Even though they don't they don't care. They don't care if you don't care, or if you do care. They just want to hear the answers, and you have to give them the answer. If you give them wrong speak, you're out of here. You're gone. So, oh yeah, it was about how they gain control, and how Tar is gaining control. And so that kind of leads me to think that maybe I was visited by Tar. I don't know. So oh, he did say that. He asked me, oh yes, you served in the old military. I was like, yes. He's like, do you still hold those values true? And I was like, no, I hold it to control. My values are for the good of control. So, and he's just like, it's just whatever. But yeah, it was odd that he asked me all these questions. So it could be that maybe he was possibly Tar. Wow, interesting. Or he could be control, looking into me even deeper. So I don't know, but yeah. So conflict after conflict after conflict gave them a reason to take away all resources and rights, and by the time it was said and done, we were malnourished and famine, and nobody had, jobs were very, very hard to come by. There were no supplies. Nothing was coming into the country. Nothing was going out, because everybody, it just gave them a reason to take things and stop getting things. A lot of food production were somehow mysteriously caught on fire, or destroyed, or whatever. Millions upon millions upon millions of livestock were culled, because of certain pathogens, that that arose. We all know that was not the case. A lot of them were taken. Everything that was culled was processed and taken. So, and of course, anyone that worked at these places were let loose, and their own people came in and started taking food, taking these livestock and processing them. So it was odd that a place that would stay open for 20 something years, producing chickens, would all of a sudden just say, oh, well, guess what? We got to cull everything, 64 million chickens got to go. And sorry, folks, you got to go home. Sorry. And then people that would come back or drive by the place that they used to work would see that they were still working. They were still operational. And they're making sure that this new pathogen, this whatever it is gone. So they're in there working, yeah. So why are there trucks upon trucks leaving? Unmarked trucks leaving, full of stuff. Hmm, very odd indeed. So, but now hindsight being 2020, they called everything and took it, and they use that to preserve their way of life and destroy ours. So that's what happened there. And then everybody, like I said, every country just was at conflict with each other, and stopped trading, stopped producing, and they in turn had the same issues. This saboteur would come around. Oh, I hear that. Hmm. Sounds like workers. They could be working on some. No, that's gunfire in the far off distance. Wow. Wow. Well, I'm safe here. So these buildings that we live in, um, everything is provided for us. There's a the wellness. We have a doctor. We have a dentist. We have pest control. We have we have maintenance guys that come through, and everything is super automated, and it's usually ran by just straight up don't give a shit technicians, and they just run around and do their thing. They just say, hey, I'm here, I gotta go do this, okay. And you have to let them. So I hear cars. Wow. And like I said before, cars, nobody drives unless they're working for control, or it is control. So, and they're either they are using gasoline powered engines, and of course they're using the electric motor engines. So, interesting fact about that is that you can get a job if your aptitude is enough or low enough to work in the mines, the lithium mines, where they strip mine these massive holes in the ground and produce coal and lithium and plutonium and a bunch of other things, to fund to fuel everything. So they have total control of everything. But in the beginning, they said, "Oh yeah, it was just we got to think about the planet, and it's got to be green, and CFC gases, and you know all these bad things for the environment." They don't give a shit about that environment. They're raping the land. Now, mind you, not a lot of people live out openly. If they live out in the woods, out in the wilderness, out in the wild, it's hidden. There's no structures out there. There could be some old rubble, but most buildings were just knocked down, or long since been uh, repurposed. A lot of that happened during the fall. They called it the Great Reset. We called it the fall, and things got so bad that abandoned houses were literally stripped of their wood, of their wiring, and repurposed and made into other buildings and materials, usually shanty towns. And that's how it worked, is all these little shanty towns. Oh, I should tell you about the shanty town wars. Ha ha ha. Oh, that was interesting. Yeah, these when the fall happened, um, the first everybody was like, oh, it's going to be Russia, it's going to be China that invades us, when we go into this shift. No, it was it was the cartels, it was the gangs, it was it was it was crazy, it was just nuts. And they literally just ransacked everything. People fought them off as much as they could, but when you're starving and famished, it's kind of hard to pull the trigger when you're weak. So that's what happened. Um, They took everything, and then the shanty towns, when they started going into the shanty towns rebuilt their shanty towns into like this fortification walls with moats, and all the guns came out and all the bullets, and they were fighting off the cartels, and the military got involved. It was kind of one of those rare events where everyone kind of came together. Um, and of course, any kind of cartels that were found, or gangs that were found, they always had resources. They had guns, they had food, they had water, they were well supplied. And it was you could pick up some really cool stuff and survive with it. And that's what happened. And then what happened after the cartels just basically said to hell with it, we're done, the shanty towns started dividing amongst themselves and fighting each other. So I lived in a shanty town for a while. Um, you know, I lived in a small part of it was like almost a sewer. It was an abandoned drainage ditch sewer concrete thing. Just a little place, just me and a candle. Uh, I had barricaded, the opening, and nobody ever messed with me. So, but it just once there was no more food or no more water, then I had to move. But after the shantytown wars, the it was everything burnt. Everything was burning. People were dying, and the shanty towns were built around the cities, and so we would live in the shanty towns and go into the city, and there was a lot of services that were being provided in the city. They were providing food and medical supplies and help if you do so desire, but you had to do certain things. You had to take certain medications, if you will. Getting things. Sometimes you could pay them off. Sometimes, and a lot of people would actually hack. They had passports. You were given a phone. Shantytown, USA was you get a phone, and the military at the time patrolled the outskirts of the cities, and into the farmlands and the rural areas. And they talked about a lot of atrocities going on. And I'm not talking about like the military, our military. There were other militaries from other countries, but they wore our uniforms. So it was strange. Me being in the military, and I noticed this. These guys were talking different languages, but they were wearing our gear, our uniforms, and driving our vehicles. It was. Not much was known at the time, but now, hindsight being 2020, which is why I'm making these videos. Hopefully that you guys can change this, with the help of Tar, which still, amazingly, is still alive today, after all those years. So it's been a very, very long, arduous, crazy times here in this new world of control and order. They really knew how to fix it, huh? And that was the thing, is that it was all about the environment. They had to save the environment, and the biggest threat to environment was us. That's right. So they started getting rid of us. And for the most part, we did a pretty good job of doing it ourselves, But they created the division, they created the divide, and interesting. There's a place called the Great Divide. There's wastelands out there. There's divides between these massive cities. but it's to be free. To be free. But these underground cities and that the resistance has, that Tar has, and other communities like that, they exist. Yeah. Oh, they gave me a sleeping pill. They told me I wasn't getting enough sleep. I wasn't getting enough adequate relaxation. And that, any kind of medication they give you, you've got to take it. And, usually I just kind of hide it in my mouth and, yeah, yeah, I took it, yeah, and spit it out. But this one, it just quickly dissolved in my mouth, and I was like, ooh, ooh, that's, ooh. So, yeah, I'm probably going to have to take a nap here pretty soon. Tired. So, a lot of things. Oh, excuse me. A lot of things to talk about, but I'm just extremely tired. See if I can last through this. But yeah, the Shantytown Wars, the Cartel Wars, the massive roundup. Anyone that was outside, they were looking for specific people. Specific people. Not a lot of old people were taken. A lot of children were taken, accepted into the cities, and they don't really know. We don't really know where they went. So, and it appeared they tried to make the cities just very, very like, wow, you should come. It's a nice place. Everything is provided for you. You can do what you want. You just can't say what you want. You can have as much sex as you want. We have drugs, we have food, we have, we have good times here. It's a great place to live, and it's very sustainable. That's what it's all about. We are very sustainable here. Outside the cities, we're not sustainable. And of course, I told you about the blight, the blot out the sun, the large blight, just the purple blight. It killed everything, all plants. Folks, wow, I'm losing it. I'm losing my consciousness here. Yeah. But at least I passed my wellness check, and I'm good to go. But yeah, like I was telling you about Tara, that they arranged for me to. I don't have to work. I can go get. I can go to the food distribution center, and I'm supposed to ask for someone named Jenny. Jen E774. So I'm like, okay. And they will give me specific food. Don't eat the green cheese, they said. Very important to not eat the green cheese. The green cheese it fills you up, though. It fills you up. But I found Jen E, and Jen E774, and she gave me these. Oh wow! She gave me these cakes, and they're kind of sweet. They're like a sweet cake, but they're kind of hardtack, so to speak. It kind of reminds me of the shortbread cakes that you would get in the military, in the MREs. They're really, really dense and hard. But yeah, she basically was like, A-4227, here is your allotment. She gave me a bunch of them. And of course, she just kind of went about her way. Everything is being watched. We're always being watched. Anything that you do, if you have a job, if you are dealing with any kind of services, any kind of sustainabilities. There's constantly everybody is being monitored. Everything. And any deviation, and you're gone. They just take you. So, folks, it's getting really hard to keep my eyes open. Getting really, really tired. So, I'm going to take a nap now. Yeah. Oh, I feel so euphoric too. Wow. Almost like I'm high. So this has been a dash. 4